Most of the laws of Yom Kippur pertain to the high priest, to the Kohen Gadol. What pertains to us on Yom Kippur? If we turn on page 705, verse 29, these few verses are applicable to us since we don't have a temple. They're applicable to us as how we relate to Yom Kippur. It says, the Day of Atonement will be an eternal statute for you. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you should afflict yourselves. What does that mean? Afflict yourselves. How would you consider afflicting yourself?
Not doing your daily routine.
Not going shopping?
Right.
That's affliction, right? That's real affliction. Not going shopping.
Not eating?
Now you're really Jewish. Now you're really Jewish. What's real affliction? You can't eat. That's you can't eat. Gewalt! Oh my gosh! Now that's affliction. That is affliction. Oh my gosh! And that's what it is. No eating or drinking. And that's what you want to afflict someone. No eating for you. Travel as a Jew. Don't take anything with you on the plane. That's affliction. Now, how did we get to? So, if you can, let's continue the verse. You should not do any work, neither native nor convert who lives amongst you. On this day, God will atone for you to cleanse you. You will be cleansed from all your sins before God. It is a Sabbath of rest for you. You should afflict yourselves. It is an eternal statute. That's it. That is the extent. That is the extent of how this relates to us today. Everything else are the offerings, the service of the high priest in going into the Holy of Holies, going into the service in the temple, the scapegoat. All of that pertains to the service of the priest. Everything else, really about the affliction and about the not working, and it should be a double Sabbath, Shabbat Shabbaton, which is in verse 31. It should be a Sabbath of rest for you, a Shabbat Shabbaton, a double day of rest. This is how we relate to it. So, our sages tell us that there is a tradition that the affliction is 5 things that we abstain from on Yom Kippur. No eating, no drinking.
Bathing?
No bathing. No anointing oneself, no bathing. No wearing leather shoes. And you should listen to long sermons from the rabbi. That's the real affliction. Now the 5th one is no intimate relations on Yom Kippur. But really, how does that express the day of Yom Kippur? What is at the essence? What's at the focal point of Yom Kippur? What would you consider it? Well, how would you describe Yom Kippur?
A day of atonement.
Atonement. What else? What did you say, Eileen?
Asking for forgiveness.
Asking for forgiveness. Okay. What kind of a day is it? Or how would you describe it?
I guess it's a day of humility, reckoning with your own self.
Okay.
Right. Introspection.
Introspection, yeah.
Okay. Day of introspection, day of reckoning. Would you consider it a spiritual day?
Yes. Absolutely.
It is a day of spirituality. Now, why is that not mentioned?
Assumed?
It is assumed. Something which is so, this is really at the core of what Yom Kippur is. When you're talking about that the high priest goes into the Holy of Holies, Yom Kippur is the day that the holiest of the Jewish people, the high priest, on the holiest day of the year, enters the holiest place on earth. So you would consider, you would figure that Yom Kippur would be, it's the holiest day of the year. It's a day that we really focus on holiness. No?
Yeah, for sure.
Where is it mentioned?
Not.
Or maybe we have to scratch this beyond the surface. Because really that's what holiness is about. Scratching beyond our own surface. So, if you look again at the word for affliction in Hebrew, in the middle of verse 29, Ta'anu et nafshotechem. Ta'anu et nafshotechem. If you continue on verse 31, Shabbat Shabbaton hilochem v'initem et nafshotechem. Now, if this word afflicting would be about fasting, just about fasting, why would it say, and you shall afflict your souls? Afflict yourself. Afflict your body. Why afflict your souls? So again, maybe this is the source that the rabbi has to speak very long. That's an affliction of the soul. Unless you know how to get a good shluff. If you get that shluff in, that is. By the way, in case anyone has any insomnia, for a small fee, I can deliver a sermon for you. We'll take care of it.
No, not, you know what? Not your sermons.
No.
Not your sermons.
Don't underestimate me, Joe. I can do it.
Hey, I've known you for 20 some years. I've never underestimated you. I've always
underestimated you. I have that ability. I can put everyone to sleep there. Okay? So the the idea over here is, what is holiness? Holiness is going beyond the surface and discovering really what is beneath it. That's what discovery is. You have to discover, remove the cover. The Hebrew word v'initem and ta'anu has a double meaning. The word, the way it's translated is to afflict, which comes from the word, it's la'anot, which is to afflict. But there is also another meaning of the word ta'anu, and that is to respond. La'anot, to respond. Ma'aneh is a response. V'initem et nafshotechem means, and you shall not only afflict, but also means to respond to your soul. Now, let's put this all together. The purpose of the fasting, not eating nor drinking, all of the different things that we abstain from on Yom Kippur, is really creating the setting. We are abstaining from the physical on Yom Kippur. That's what we do on Yom Kippur. We take a step back from the physical. We abstain from the material. We are removing ourselves from the physical world on Yom Kippur. We enter into a different realm. We enter into the realm of the soul. All of the abstentions of Yom Kippur are in order for us to tap into the soul, to respond to the soul, to allow us to hear the soul. Because normally throughout the year, for the most part, what we hear is the body. We hear what the body wants. We hear what the body needs. And so, one day of the year, we remove ourselves from the physical in order to tap in and to listen to the soul. Listen to the soul. And as a result of this, yes, it's called a day of atonement, but it's also a day of at-one-ment. We are one. It's called Achat Bashana. Once a year, the one day of the year. But it's not just the one day of the year, it is the oneness of the year. This day of the year we become one with our inner self. Truly become one.
Don't we reach that highest level, the Yechida? And that's the only day.
That's the day that we consciously reach the day of Yechida on a collective level. We can reach Yechida individually, a person can reach the level of Yechida, but collectively, as a people, we all reach the level of Yechida on Yom Kippur. That's why we have the 5 prayer services, going deeper and deeper into the soul. This is Yom Kippur. This is the essence of what Yom Kippur is all about. And that's how it comes together. We scratch beneath the surface to respond to our soul. Now, this is a different take of what Yom Kippur is. So the fasting of Yom Kippur is not affliction for the sake of, flagellation, inflicting a wound. No, that's not what Yom Kippur is about. Yes, it's called affliction, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to create the setting for you to respond to your soul. So it has a double meaning. Now, if we go further, in the beginning of chapter 18, in verse 5, the Torah goes on and says, "You shall guard my super-rational commands, my rational laws, which a man should do." And here we have a very important verse, which is associated to Yom Kippur as well, and all of Judaism. It says, what is the purpose of all this? Excuse me. It says, Asher yaseh ha'adam, that Asher yaseh otam ha'adam, that the person should do this, that man should do this, v'chai bohem, ani Hashem, and you shall live with it, God says. This is an essential verse of the Torah. I mean, all of Torah is essential.
What page are you on?
Page 711.
And what chapter again?
Chapter 18, verse 5. Again, you shall guard my super-rational commands, my rational laws, which a man should do, and you will live by them. I am God. From here, we have a source in the Torah. What happens if there's a conflict between a mitzvah in the Torah and health, for example? A person is ill on Shabbat. We need to call a doctor. Well, a person doesn't use the phone. A person shouldn't use the phone on Shabbat. You unplug on Shabbat. Or rather, leave the phone plugged in on Shabbat. Leave it there. But we put everything on pause on Shabbat. But a person needs to call a doctor. Well, maybe that takes precedence. The Shabbat takes precedence. Sorry. No, what do?
You have to take care of them.
Yes, not only are you allowed to, you must.
Right.
You must. The question of desecrating Shabbat, saving a life. What takes precedence? Saving a life takes precedence. We have in the laws of the Torah, we just had a few weeks ago, the laws of keeping kosher. Laws of keeping kosher and saving a life. Let's say a person needs to have this non-kosher ingredient in order to save a life. What do?
Save a life.
You save a life. But where is the source for this? I mean, it may make sense that you jump in and you save a life, but maybe one should not do that. Because the Torah. So the Torah tells us that all of the Torah is v'chai bohem, that you shall live by them. Not just living by them, that you should live with the laws. That's self-understood. The Torah keeps on underscoring and emphasizing that you should keep the laws. Why does it say v'chai bohem? Why don't you live with them? That means all of this is in order to infuse life with holiness. And if there is a conflict between life itself and the mitzvah of the Torah, the mitzvah of saving a life takes precedence. So here we also see, this is mentioned in the context of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the holiest day. Yom Kippur, we remove ourselves from the physical world. One may think that is the objective. Really, the objective of Judaism is that we should reach a place where we become removed from the world. Tells us the Torah, no. That's not the objective. The objective is not to remove from the world. That's the one day of the year that we exercise entering into the world of sublime holiness. That's the one day of the year we do that we really take a deep dive into this sublime world of no eating, no drinking, and just immerse ourselves in total holiness and spirituality. But otherwise, what are we to do? We are to take the holiness and bring it into the world. V'chai bohem, live with it. Even the holiest person, the Kohen Gadol, one of his prerequisites, in order that he should be the high priest, in order that he should enter into the Holy of Holies, he had to be grounded, he had to be connected to the physical world, he had to be married. He had to know what it means to have a household, to be married. If he was not married, he could not enter into the Holy of Holies.
So what if she passes away while he's serving?
Then another Kohen has to step in. Good question. Yes, another Kohen
really?
has to step in. There has to be a deputy Kohen. There's a deputy Kohen Gadol who is ready to serve in case the Kohen Gadol cannot serve. Yes.
And his wife passing away causes him not to be able to serve.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
He had to be married.
Really?
And that is a prerequisite. It's really the opposite of what you find in other religious orders. That the holier you are, the more removed you are from the physical world, to the extent that one would be even abstinent.
Does they have to have children?
I'm sorry?
Does they have to have children?
That's in the hands of God. No, he had to be married. Whether he had children or not, that's in the hands of God. He had to be married. So, the steps of Yom Kippur. We afflict our souls. Yes, we fast. We do all the 5 steps of abstention. But that's not the goal in itself. That is in order to create the parameters, to go deeper beyond the surface, and to respond to our soul. The purpose of responding to our soul, of going deeper and deeper into our soul, is to rejuvenate. Pun intended. Rejuvenate, J-E-W. To rejuvenate oneself. To bring out the essence of who we are. In order not to escape from the world, but to go back into the world. V'chai bohem, to live with it. To infuse life. Infuse everyday life with the holiness that we find in the Torah Yom Kippur.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Let's live with it.
So it was pun intended.
Yes, you said that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, but we want to emphasize it.
Yes, pun intended.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you.